Welcome to the Travel Tidbits podcast, hosted by me, Jamie Weidel, travel advisor and owner of Pineapple Escapes Travel. Join me as I share the latest travel news, top destinations, and expert tips for the savvy traveler. Because after all, travel makes life sweeter. Welcome back to the Travel Tidbits podcast, where we share simple tips to make your travel smoother, more enjoyable, and a whole lot more memorable. Today's episode is all about one of my favorite topics, Disney Cruise Line. And we have a really fun topic today because we're talking about a brand new promo that is honestly one of the best we've seen in a while. All of the new Disney ships, and now they're doing promos. It's awesome. So I'm joined by one of our great Pineapple Escapes travel agents, Pankti Bhatia, and she is going to help us go through all of this. So Pankti, welcome.
Thank you so much, Jamie. I'm so excited to talk about Disney Cruise Line. It is one of my favorite topics to talk about.
Yes, mine too. So let's start with the promotion itself, because I think this is kind of a really big deal right now. Disney is currently offering 50% off the cruise fare for a third, fourth, or even fifth child in a stateroom on select sailings. And some of these sailings are even over breaks and over holidays. So from your perspective, who is this offer really for, and who should be reaching out if a Disney cruise is on their list?
Oh my gosh, this promotion yells family travel, like 1000%. Disney rooms, most of the rooms are actually come with a split bath. So I know so many families who typically on a regular cruise line, depending on the ages of their kids, they actually get two rooms so that they can have the extra bath and a little bit more room for their kids and stuff. But they love having everyone all together on Disney Cruise Line ships because of that split bath. It is a wonderful benefit for families. It's actually a promotion that our family has also taken advantage of, and it does save a good amount of money. I feel like this is definitely one of the better promotions
Yeah.
for cruise lines.
Yes, I agree. So where are you guys going?
Oh, it like came out last year, actually.
Okay.
And we actually traveled in February during a kind of like a winter break thing that my kids had. And so it was perfect. The weather was lovely. We were able to just drive to the port out of Galveston, which is always convenient. And oh my gosh, like it was so much fun.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
I do think that you're right. It definitely opens a door for families and for people who may have thought Disney Cruise was out of their budget or out of reach in some way. So when you're talking to clients about this promotion, what kinds of trips or family situations are you thinking about? Like you already mentioned, like the split bath is a big deal, but is there a certain age range of kids you're looking for? Like what kind of family are you looking for this?
Right. So when we are kind of advising our families of different Disney ships, and I know we get this question asked all the time. When is the best age to go to Disney World? What is the best age for a Disney Cruise Line? And we're probably exceptions where we're like, any age is the best age and just go.
Yeah.
And you'll find us taking newborns to Disney World. So we're a little bit of an exception. However, I do understand this question. And I do feel like whoever who doesn't know, when you go to the Disney parks, any child who's under the age of 3 are actually free. So even if your vacation starts the day before they turn 3, it's actually a free ticket. And so if you are excited to take your children to Disney World, but they are under 3, I always say maximize that, take advantage of that offer. However, if they are above 3 and really not into the rides yet, kind of like that 3 to 6, 3 to 7 age range, Disney Cruise Line is perfect for them. They give you so much benefit. The first thing that comes to mind is their amazing kids clubs, which after the age of 3, all kids are free and they can utilize that. If your child is under the age of 3, I mean, you have to pay an hourly rate. It's very, very affordable. So it's nothing crazy, but I just feel like they offer so much value for those kids who are really just not into the rides. They also have so many character interactions that you're never standing in a line to meet a character for more than 15 minutes. And I know in the parks, standing in line for Mickey or Minnie was well above 45 minutes, an hour and a half, and you are never standing that long on a Disney cruise line. Additionally, they come and like interact with you as well. It's not just a quick photo and that's it. They'll come out and we'll do dance parties together. They'll come to your dining. They'll have their stage shows. If you have girls who are really into princesses, there's princesses around the ship. I remember our first Disney Cruise Line, my daughter was just a little above 3, and we happened to meet Snow White. Snow White took her on a walk around the ship. Like, she was absolutely mesmerized. She had a conversation with Rapunzel just about her hair and her nails and makeup. It was adorable. So that whole family aspect, I mean, Disney just knocks it out of the park.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that's one thing we can help you decide is, are you ready for Walt Disney World, or is Disney Cruise Line going to fit your needs better? And also, I like to say you're in line in air conditioning on the ship to wait for these things,
Yes,
which is a
yes.
little different than Walt Disney World. But we did take advantage when my kids were little, back in the dark ages. Now my kids are 18, 16, and 16. But when they were little, we went to Disney for the first time when my girls were still 2, like right before they turned 3, to take advantage of that ticket offer. And then we did our first Disney cruise when they were 4, so they could take full advantage of the kids club, which is amazing. Like, Adventure Ocean is just, it does not compare to any of the other cruise lines. So while bigger kids might enjoy a different cruise line more, the younger set, Disney Cruise Line is really made for them. And we also had the character interactions. When my girls were 5 or 6, we were on a Northern Europe Disney cruise, and it was again Rapunzel who came out and just made their day, made their whole life. So I just feel like it's a different vibe. It's definitely more laid back than the parks, definitely a little bit easier to navigate, and still has all of that Disney magic, which I think is so important. Okay, we already think that Disney is a great option for families with younger kids, especially those who aren't maybe ready for the full park experience, the heat, multiple days of go, go, go. But can you talk about why Disney Cruise is a great fit for those who are over 3, but not super into rides? You mentioned this a little bit, but what really makes Disney Cruise special? Like, is it the dining? Like, we talked about the character interactions, but what else is there that really makes this a good fit?
Yeah, so Disney Cruise Line, in essence, is really an experience. They know, like Disney IP and their company, they really know how to put on a really, truly like magical experience while you're on the ship. So they have state of the art Broadway like shows that are really not just for the kids. Like, adults go in there like completely out of words because of just the production that they put on. And these are not 30-minute shows. These are over an hour long shows, and they really know storytelling. That's what Disney really does do best. I just want to share a story. On one of our Disney cruises, they had the Frozen Broadway show, and Frozen actually was doing like an actual Broadway show as well in our hometown. So we went to see that as well. And that Broadway show was near identical to the one that Disney put out. So when we say they put on Broadway like experiences, it is truly, truly amazing. Besides the shows, they have a lot of just different family times. They have different arts and crafts activities. They have different trivia. They have different side activities that really, like, if you don't, obviously you can't watch the show all day, but if you want to do some of those experiences, they have that. They have a full blown movie theater that is playing Disney movies. So you can really get your popcorn and watch a movie. And if you are on a sailing that has a new release, you'll be able to watch it first on that Disney cruise ship before it's really even out to the public on land. So that's always so much fun. Their deck shows, like, I don't know if you've heard of Pirate Night or even their thematic shows, like those are just amazing. Like the stuff that they do on these decks. And there's always going to be, unless you're doing an Alaska sailing, they have a fireworks show as well. Just their entertainment, the experience that you have from the staff, from the characters, your dining experience. Your dining is truly an experience. Depending on the restaurant you go to, there might be like a show that they put on during that dining experience. In Animator's Palette, you have the option of having, like, you draw on your placemat and your little drawing becomes an animation. Like the whole thing is an experience. It's not just, hey, let's just have dinner. It's no, let's, how do we make this an experience? And Disney just does an amazing job with all of those aspects.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I do think the rotational dining is something that is unique to Disney. So typically on most of the Disney ships, there are 3 rotational dining rooms, and each one is themed differently. So no matter what ship you're on, you're going to get 3 different themes, and a lot of the ships have different ones. When we're helping you narrow down what ship you would like, that's something we can take into consideration. Like if there are specific characters or a specific show you want to see, that's something that we can take into account. But this rotational dining, you are set up so that every night your wait staff goes with you to the new dining room. So typically you rotate through those 3. And like if it's a 7-night cruise, you're going to go to the 3 and then 3 again, and then 1 more the last night. So you kind of rotate through those with the same wait staff who gets to know you, knows what drink you want. Typically by the 2nd or 3rd night, they have your drinks waiting on the table. Usually there's appetizers or something for the kids so that they can get them fed quickly. They really think through all of it. They'll cut up your kids' pancakes or steak. I know when my girls were little, that was like, oh my gosh, they're cutting up their pancakes and I can actually eat my food. Like, this is amazing. Sometimes it's just those little things that make all the difference in the world. But the rotational dining is unique to Disney and something that I think really helps Disney Cruise Line stand out.
Yeah, the wait staff is amazing in those dining halls. They'll even like tell jokes, keep kids entertained. They'll tell jokes. I remember they put on like a 5-minute little magic show for my kids while they were waiting for their food to come out. All of those little touches, it just makes the whole experience so special. And I do love that, especially if you wanted to request special meals or things like that, they do remember what you want and what you would need for your meals, and they have it ready. So you don't even have to double guess or think about it. Like they are truly there to serve you, and they make it so seamless.
Yes, and I think that's a good point. Like Disney Cruise Line does an amazing job with specific dietary restrictions, with if you're gluten-free, if you're dairy-free, if you're vegan, no matter what kind of dining options you need, they are excellent at dealing with that and helping to make sure that you have what you need. And really, Disney goes above and beyond some of the other cruise lines in their ability to do this, I think. I also think Disney's surprise and delight is really one of those things that you really see on Disney Cruise Line, like the little touches, like you mentioned, the magic show at dinner, or we did like a napkin thing on our heads during dinner. They really do their best to just make it special. On our Northern European cruise, when my kids were little, the composers and writers of the songs from Frozen were actually on that ship with their family. And so, as a surprise and delight for the whole ship, they did a special production in the theater where they sat down and talked to the writers and the musicians and the composers from Frozen. It was actually like a Norwegian fjords cruise. So Disney had given this to them as like a perk for being a part of the Frozen movie. But they did a whole production and talked about how they came up with the ideas, sitting in their living room, coming up with the words to the songs, talking about how their daughters got to be some of the trolls that were in Frozen. Some of the voices were their daughters. Like, it was fascinating, but that was something that none of us expected. We didn't even know they were really on the ship until they announced, hey, we're having this special thing in the theater. And it was just amazing. Like, it's those little surprise and delight things that really make Disney Cruise Line stand out.
Oh my gosh, that sounds so incredible. Like,
Yeah.
that would have, oh my gosh, what an amazing event, like, experience.
Yeah, goosebumps for sure. Like,
Yeah.
when my girls were little, Frozen was really big. So it had probably been out 2 or 3 years by that point, but it was still really, really big. So that was phenomenal, just really an amazing. And they had the Frozen deck party because we were on the Norwegian cruise, like, since we went to Norway. So that was cool. It was a really neat experience. So I think Disney Cruise Line is really great for multi-generational too. Like, there really is something for everyone. There are adult-only spaces. There's a spa. There are not casinos on Disney ships, but there's still so much to do for all ages. So let's talk a little bit about that. Like, when your kids are in the kids club, in the Oceaneers Club, having fun, what are some of the things that adults can do?
Yeah. And I also want to just talk about the kids club just for a moment. So, you just mentioned that there are no casinos on Disney Cruise Lines. So what they do with that space is they make that into these kids clubs. And so they're not like a little room somewhere on the ship. They pretty much make their ships around these kids clubs. So they are massive. So the first ages of the kids club is ages 3 to 11. So they have like an Oceaneers club and an Oceaneers lab. In the lab, they do a lot of fun experiments and like projects. So it's not like they're kind of doing whatever. Like, my kids had they had to build a car and then they raced the cars. So really engaging activities with these kids. And so I really, really enjoy the kids clubs. My kids like love the kids clubs. They really take advantage of them, which is great because then my husband and I can have some alone time. And so some of the things we do, they do have a lot of adult spaces, depending on your ship. They have different adult spaces and different sports bars. One of the cruises that we went on was over the Super Bowl. So that was such a fun experience to go to a sports bar and watch the game, and also like know that, oh, my kids are occupied. They're having fun too. Like, they're in their own space, and as adults are in our own space. They'll have different trivia around the ship. It's really entertaining to watch their trivia shows, even if you're not participating. And then just a lot of side shows that they have around the ship. Like I said before, and I truly believe this, that they really do a good job of entertaining all age groups. You don't need to be a certain age to really enjoy a Disney cruise line experience. Like, it's truly an experience.
Yeah, some of the events around the ship that I've enjoyed, they have an anyone can cook. If you've seen Ratatouille, they do, like, the chefs come out and teach you how to make a recipe and you get to try it. And then you also get like the actual printout recipe on a card, like as a keepsake to take home. So we did Alaska the last time we were on Disney Cruise Line. And so I think we went to 3 of those. They always do like a napkin folding class. And then I think that's a good segue into like the different theme sailing. So we have done the Very Merrytime cruise. And so on that one, they had gingerbread house making, we had cookie decorating. They did a lot of very seasonal things that were a lot of fun that you could do either with your kids or with adults. And I think it's also important, kind of floating back here, like the adults only spaces. After a certain time, there are spaces that only adults can go into and kids are not allowed to go into. So you get kind of like a disco bar feel to those. Usually I'm asleep by that point, I will be honest, but it is nice to have those options on the ship for adults as well. But let's talk a little bit more about the theme sailing. So I know you've been on, was it the Marvel or
Yeah, so we did the Marvel Day at Sea as well as the Very Merrytime as well. And hands down, we have done several Christmas-esque sailings with different cruise lines. Like hands down, no competition, no discussion needed. Disney knocks it out of the park. If you have young kids who are still into the magic, go on a Disney cruise. Like it is such a gift to yourself that you don't have to create all the magic. They do such a phenomenal job, like hands down. Just all of the interactions, like the different themed events that they have on board. They'll make it quote unquote snow on board as well, which is always so much fun. They have story time with Santa and Mrs. Claus and just so many other like thematic events that are happening throughout the ship. Like it is such a magical experience for sure. Our Marvel Day at Sea was really cool. We had Spider-Man and some other superheroes that I still don't know the names of because I'm not a superhero person. But my son is really into it. So he had a lot of fun with all the different character interactions. And it's really like the entire ship transforms into that experience. So you don't really see princesses that particular day that you have the Marvel experience. It really becomes like that is the theme for the day. They'll incorporate it even in your dining experience and during your lunches. They really go hard into the theme. And it's what's really fun about these themes is that a lot of adults as well as kids really get into the theme. And it's fun to participate when everyone else is participating, right? Like it's not just a handful of guests, it's really the majority of the guests. So it becomes such a fun experience. And they'll have like standard like photo opportunities, but then they're also just walking around the ship and they'll do fun experiences. They'll also go into the kids clubs and interact with the kids. And those are special events that adults can't go to. So I think that's kind of cool that they do that for the kids. But yeah, it's fun. You can't second guess Disney and entertainment.
Yeah, I completely agree. So the very Merrytime that we did, my kids were probably 7 and 9, I think, when we did that one, and we cruised over Christmas. So like the night before, they had cookies and milk to put out for Santa. On Christmas morning, you could go down in your pajamas to the atrium. You got to sit on Santa's lap and talk to him. There was also like gingerbread houses. Like they must have done a contest within like the different chefs and cooks on board. So there were gingerbread houses lining the whole like atrium. It was just stunning. And like you said, the snow where they make it snow inside, and they just do an amazing job. So there's also Halloween on the High Seas and Star Wars Days at Sea. They've integrated a few other little things into some of the newer ships with some new like special days and that sort of thing. But that's definitely something to talk to us about if you're reaching out about a cruise. If you're looking for one of those special times a year, that's something we can definitely help you with.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to the promotion for just a minute. So this offer currently is for select sailings through early 2027, and it applies when the first 2 guests pay the full fare. So what would you advise to families who are thinking right now they'd like to take advantage of this for another sailing in 2026 or something in 2027?
Yeah. So just a few details about the promotion. So the promotion must be booked by June 14th. And that does not mean that you need to be traveled by June 14th. They have different eligibility sailings well into 2027 as well. But you just need to have that booked for June 14th. What Disney does a really good job about is when you book a reservation that is further out, you just have to pay a deposit. And that locks in your room and your price. And when I say locks in your price, I mean that you will, if the prices change, you're not going to be charged more. If there's another promotion or if there, for whatever reason, if the rooms there's another promotion that gets released and for whatever reason it's cheaper now, we can always reprice it for you. And so this will be the most expensive that you're typically ever going to pay when you lock in that rate. However, things happen. And if your plans change, as long as you're before the final payment date, that deposit comes back to you. There are some restrictions with that. So definitely we can talk to you about those minute details. But by and large, that I really like that Disney does that because things happen, but it really does encourage families to look at their schedule ahead of time and plan those vacation times. Another thing about this promotion that's really great is Disney qualifies a child that any child that is less than 17 is a child. So I know other cruise lines have restrictions on after 12 or after 13 or something like that. No, Disney, as long as you have a child that's under 17, they are a child. And so they are eligible for this promotion. And so really start thinking about when you are able to, what your vacation dates look like. Contact your favorite Pineapple Escapes travel agent, and we can definitely walk you through what dates make sense, what voyage makes sense. We can kind of walk you through those minute details between the different ships, the different timings, the duration of your cruise, all of that.
Yeah. And just like with our Walt Disney World clients, we are always monitoring for promotions. We're making sure our clients have the best value available. So if you are already booked with one of our agents and this promotion applies to your booking, you should have already heard from us with that price adjustment to let you know that, hey, your sailing's on this promotion and we're able to save you money. And that's one of my favorite things to do. Anytime a new promo drops with Disney is go through my list of bookings and be able to reach out to those clients and say, hey, there's a new promo. Here's the new price.
Yeah, that's a shameless, a shameless plug for working at the travel advisor is that we do monitor prices and we're on your side and we want to save you the most money possible. So trust me, Disney is not emailing you and saying, hey, you can save a lot of money if you rebook.
Yeah.
But your travel advisor definitely is.
Yes. And I think that's a big perk. Before we wrap up, if someone was thinking about a Disney cruise and hasn't taken the leap, what would be the one main thing you would want them to know?
One main thing about Disney, so I have a lot of main things about Disney Cruise Line, but really it is an experience. Like Disney knows how to give you a really, really magical experience. And that's where they strive. That's where they thrive. When you compare Disney versus other cruise lines, they're not going to have, especially when you compare like other cruise lines that have those mega ships and things like that's not where Disney Cruise Line shines and thrives. Like it is about the whole experience. It is about making sure you're comfortable. It is about making sure your kids are entertained. It is about all of that so that you truly have a magical vacation.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it really is overall a service thing. I think Disney really does service really well, especially for families and kids and multi-generational trips. So, Pankti, thank you for joining me today. This was such a helpful conversation, and I hope we've encouraged a few people to want to book a Disney cruise today because I know it's definitely something I'm thinking about right now.
Yes.
Thank you everyone for listening. If you've ever been considering a Disney cruise, especially with this current promo, now's a great time to look at your different options. Whether you're planning a multi-generational trip, traveling with younger kids, or just want a vacation that truly has something for everyone, yes, you can go as adults only. I have done it. Disney Cruise Line is really hard to beat. So reach out to your favorite Pineapple Escapes travel agent, and we'll help you find the right sailing, the right ship, and make the entire process seamless and stress-free from start to finish. Thanks for tuning in today to the Travel Tidbits podcast. And remember, travel makes life sweeter. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Travel Tidbits podcast, where we believe travel makes life sweeter. The team at Pineapple Escapes Travel would love to help you plan a trip filled with lasting memories. Visit us online at www.pineappleescapes.com to start planning your next adventure.